evening and welcome to This Is The Day. My name is Sarah Otieno.
And my name is Frederick Nji, the guy who was going testing a few minutes ago.
Well, we're live on Family TV, also live on Family Radio, where the music does the talking. And today we have some really good news, Fred.
Yes, the CS Education, George Magoha.
I cut you off guard because I said good news.
Yes, CS Education, George Magoha, now says that KCPE and KCSE will be done next year. And there's a possibility we might not open schools in September.
Yeah.
Plus, we're also going to look at the same CS talking about banning pornography in the country. Is going to push something in the cabinet so that we can stop the ridiculous number of girls that are getting impregnated, schoolgirls. And plus, today is rather crazy day in as far as COVID is concerned. Over 200 people tested positive, and we've lost quite a number of people.
Yeah, we'll be looking at that and much more. Join our discussion today. The SMS line 20316 on WhatsApp 0786 316 316 on Facebook and Twitter at Family Radio 316. And we already have Calvin Warongai who said, I was waiting for the show 5 minutes ago. Well, thank you, Calvin, for tuning in.
All right, Calvin, let me tell you this. The Ministry of Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha has announced that secondary and primary final examination will be sat in April 2021 if the scheduled September 2020 reopening is successful. Magoha was set to tour Nakuru Girls High School to inspect the institution ahead of a possible reopening that has been marked for September. Appearing before the Senate Ad hoc Committee on COVID-19, the professor, however, pointed out that there is a possibility that schools might not open in September as intended due to the rising number of the coronavirus cases. He added that if exams are not held in April 2021, it might not be possible to have the tests done next year.
And the dates of the exam will definitely roll over to early next year. Because if we are opening in September, and we have already said the children must start from where they left. I think it is just. Then perhaps as we are cooking the food, the earliest the children the exams can take place is around February and March. And in any case, not later than April. Because if you do the exam in April, then the transition will not take place. So our beloved people must also start thinking about where is the red line. For example, yesterday we had the highest number, is it?
Yeah.
Yesterday we had the highest number, and we are still increasing. If this scenario continues into September, then you do not expect the president to tell you to go and open the schools. And if we delay beyond September, then I think we shall be talking about other issues.
Well, it is rather unfortunate because yesterday was the highest number before he made the speech, and today actually we have a higher number. And, you know, I have a sister who's a candidate this year, and I know this news is actually breaking her heart right now. But yeah, it just is what it is.
Yeah, it's next year, 2021, as in right now it's given. No matter what happens, the exams will not take place this year. The final exams for Class 8 and Form 4 will take place in sometime next year, at least before April.
Yeah. All right, and that brings us to the question of the day. We would like to know what you feel about the postponing of examinations due to circumstances, of course, up to April next year. Are you for the idea or are you against it? And text us your reasons. The WhatsApp number is 0786 316 316, SMS line 20316. Well, let us look at the condition and our situation when it comes to COVID-19. 213 new cases have been confirmed out of the sample 6,024 that were tested in the last 24 hours. Now, this is the highest number of COVID-19 that has been reported in the country, and now the total stands at 4,257. Now, out of these 213, Out of these 213, 196 are Kenyans, while 15 are foreigners, and the youngest is 1 year old, the oldest being 73 years old.
Today we have tested a sample of 6,024, and among these samples we have found 213 positive cases. And the cumulative number of tests that we have carried out so far is 130,498. Out of the positive cases, 198 are Kenyans, 15 are foreigners, and in terms of age, in terms of gender, 151 are males, 62 are females. In terms of age, the youngest is 1 year old, the oldest is 73. On a positive note, we have today discharged 106 patients from our various hospitals, bringing the total cumulative number of recoveries to 1,459.
On a sad note, however, the country has recorded the highest number of fatalities, with 10 people succumbing to the virus. Now the total death tally stands at 117.
We report that we have lost 10 more patients to the disease. This is the highest number of fatalities recorded on a single day since the first case. And this brings to 117 the number of those who have succumbed to the disease. I want to send my heartfelt condolences to the families and friends of the departed.
Oh, that is very sad there.
True, that's very sad. 10 people.
Yeah.
I think that's the highest we've had this far.
Mm-hmm.
Condolences to the family.
Yeah, sure.
Now back to Nairobi. Vague and unconstitutional is how a Nairobi court has declared the deed of transfer of all functions signed by the Nairobi governor Mike Sonko to the national government. The court has ruled that the transfer of 6,000 county government employees to the newly established Nairobi Metropolitan Services, or NMS, was illegal. Judge Helen Wasilwa of the Employment and Labor Relations Court noted that the deed of transfer was not approved by the county assembly. The national government was given 90 days to identify various illegalities identified in the ruling. The ruling is expected to complicate matters for the NMS, led by Major General Mohammed Badi. Sonko signed the deed at State House, Nairobi, on the 25th of February in the presence of President Uhuru Kenyatta and Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa, but later claimed he did not have an opportunity to read it.
I'm laughing. This is interesting, and the governor is saying he did not have an opportunity to read the agreement before signing off Nairobi County. Well, it's quite interesting there, and now the court has said it's vague
and unconstitutional.
But they're doing some great work in town, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of work that is taking place in the city, which is good. I hope that had started some time back.
Well, okay, as we ponder about that, remember the question that we are asking today: are you for the idea that examinations have been postponed up to April next year, and that you're talking about the national examinations, KCPE and KCSE, April next year? Quite some few months from the time that it was supposed to be done. We have Joseph from Kiserian. Thank you so much for your opinion. You're saying an examination is a tool to measure progress and expert. Yeah, that is. And fortunately, knowledge cannot be stolen from the students. Their preparation for the exams has been increased to let them use this time to become sharper. I'm for the idea the only exam our sisters and brothers should do is a COVID-19 test. And you're saying, Fred, please remind me the song that you played yesterday at the end of the show. That one is the one that your daughter loves.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
It was the song Echo. By Torren Wells.
Yes, I hope you got that. Thank you. And Sally from Rongai, you're saying Hello, I am tuned in and it will be well with the school candidates, whatever the situation ahead. Well, my opinion is I think I'll trust the professionals in planning for those tests and be undertook in April as long as the students' lives are not in jeopardy. I like that. Thank you so much. Essie Kimenyi, and Essie is actually a tutor, and she's saying, thank you so much. CS Magoha is a gentleman. I agree with the postponement. Better safe than sorry, you know. Thank you so much for that. Calvin Warongai, asante sana for tuning in. We also have Steve, who is saying, tumesikia mkijaribu mic 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, asante sana for tuning in today. And Steve, your concern has been taken note of. Asante sana for that kind message that you sent. Remember, you're asking the question, are you for the postponement of the national examinations to April next year? I still can't get it inside me. Well, but that is how the situation has forced things. April next year. Are you for the idea or against the idea?
Well, there are quite a number of people also going through some tests right now. Politically speaking, it looks like impeachment is the word on the mouth of almost everybody. There's a group that is trying to impeach Kitui Governor Charity Ngilu. There's the Waiguru impeachment that is currently going on. And now there's even talks about impeaching the Cabinet Secretary for Transport, CS Macharia. And Nyali MP Muhammad Ali, who is actually the one who's leading this, his attempt has run into headwinds after a section of MPs who purportedly signed a petition disowned the ouster. Mohammed tabled a motion seeking to remove Transport CS James Macharia from office over his order to use the SGR to transport cargo from Mombasa to Nairobi ICD.
Battle is on and it will not be stopped. It is not about Macharia. It is about the good people of the Republic of Kenya. Every CS, members of parliament, senators, MCAs must be accountable for the money that they are given by the government to help the people. The issue about Naivasha can for sure tell you now who I'm dealing with. Macharia ni kijana wa mkono, na tutataja majina ya wenye ardhi ya Naivasha. Tutataja majina ya wale ambao wamechukua rasilimali ya wapwani kwa kimabavu. Tutataja watu wale wote ambao katika bandari ya pwani wameweza kujigawia sehemu. Tutamention all the birds in the pot.
Well, at least 30 MPs have accused the first-time lawmaker for being malicious, led by Kiharu lawmaker Ndindi Nyoro. The MPs said the purported signatures were obtained through deceit.
Mohamed Ali ameleta bunge number 1 signatures 90 or purporting to have 90 signatures of members of parliament ati wamesaini maneno ya impeachment ya CS Macharia. From the onset, because I've gone through that list, most of those signatures that are there are actually fake. Some of the people who purportedly signed that list are actually here. Na nyinyi pia mkiangalia hiyo list, utaona zingine signature imechorwa ng'ombe, ingine signature imechorwa kodoo. Ni mtu gani huyo mbunge ana sign signature ambaye ni kodoo, ambaye ni ng'ombe?
We all know that the performance of the various ministries is based on the allocation of money that the ministries are given. The road network in this country requires a lot of money, and as you are aware, the money is not allocated by CS Macharia. Whatever economy is going through is affecting every ministry. So to allege that the CS Macharia is responsible for an incomplete project or stalled project, that is a lie.
Can you imagine your signature being a cow or a goat?
Telling you, by the time this year is over, the kind of thing we're going to get, the kind of treatment we're going to get from our political leaders is going to be very interesting. Now, you remember the story we did yesterday of over 4,000 girls from Machakos, primary school and secondary school girls getting pregnant, impregnated within the 3 months COVID period. Well, there's a lot of controversy that is coming out of that. And now, Education Cabinet Secretary Professor George Magoha wants pornographic sites banned in the country, saying that they are to blame for the high rate of teenage pregnancies. Speaking today, Professor Magoha said he will lobby the cabinet and by extension the president to consider changing the law to block information related to pornography from being accessed by anyone, not just kids, anyone in the country. Magoha at the same time questioned a report from Machakos claiming that over 4,000 girls had been impregnated in the last 3 months, saying it is obnoxious.
The issue of our girls, our children and grandchildren getting pregnant as if all we are thinking about is about sex. I am going to lobby the cabinet and by extension His Excellency the President so that they consider changing the law to block information related to pornography from being accessed by all and sundry in this country. I think it is wise and it is proper to call a spade a spade. And also, because you see, when you are not thinking about sex, but somebody opens the pornographic page, then you start thinking about it and you start generating ideas. By the way, why is that site accessible in Kenya? Who needs it? So don't tell us that because it is accessible in the US, it should be accessible here. I just want to repeat for the upteenth time, it is not the money, but it is the quality time of your life that you spend with that girl, giving her confidence, telling her the body is her own temple, that she's the only one with the power. Not people who tell you they can't sleep. They go to sleep immediately, you're out of sight. There's nobody who will tell you, oh, he can't sleep when he's thinking about you. He wants what is in between your legs. And the power is with you.
Very strong message from the CS. That's why I like this guy. I mean, he does not mince his words. I mean, he says it like it is. Take it like him or hate him. But he's just delivered
That's
the
your
capsule.
business.
Yeah.
And Essie says he's a gentleman.
Yeah, he truly is. Well, I also had an opportunity to talk to KFCB CEO Ezekiel Mutua about this whole thing, because 4,000, the number 4,000 was just out of this world.
Yeah.
And I asked him, what in the world is happening, and was he shocked by the numbers? And this is what he had to say.
But I'll tell you, friend, it's not even the exact number. It is more, probably double. That's a tragedy. It is, I mean, those are just, let me tell you, that is not the exact number, because we have been following this since 2017. When we did a survey about the effects of vulgar vernacular music on the youth. This came out in 2017. We realized that Machakos County topped in obscenity and vulgarity, and that even the bands in Machakos, they had even adopted strange names that are sexualized, Katombi, Maima, and we know what those things mean.
Yeah.
The young kids know what that thing means. And then they were doing videos that objectify women, glorify sex with young girls, and somebody saying that they are going to defile a young kid.
Oh,
and they
that
don't
is sad.
care if that kid is on their period. They are going, you know, that gory, objectionable language being used on music. Now let me tell you the shock.
Yeah.
And you can even go public with this. One time at the height of that campaign, when we were saying this is wrong,
Yes.
I was invited to the inauguration of Governor of Machakos.
Yes.
I was shocked. Maima was performing the same dirty content at the inauguration of the governor, and mature people, adults, were taking to the floor to dance to a song that says Vusia Ungu. We know what that means.
No.
It is objectionable. So people have been playing around, thinking that we are just busybodies who are talking. When the kid posted nude photos in 2018
Yes.
and said Ifikie Wazazi,
Yes.
they were sending a message of defiance.
Yeah.
They were saying that we are tired, we feel left alone. we feel nobody cares. And they were expressing discontent with the situation. Nobody did anything other than KFCB making noise and getting involved in the Kenya National Drama and Film Festival. Now there is new genre of music called Gengeton, which is defiance.
Yes.
And then we have allowed our media, vernacular stations in particular, particularly from Mukambani, they play these dirty things and sexualize their programs. Nothing is left to imagination, Fred. They do it openly. They do it in clubs. They do it in discotheques. They do it in public meetings. And it has been meant to look normal for a boy and a girl to gyrate in public, to do these things that were taboo. The result are what we are seeing. We are not saying that bad content is the only factor contributing to this. Yes. But I can tell you the numbers are too high. And it's not just Machakos.
Yes.
We are only saying Machakos topped out of 7 counties. We have done Kikuyu in Nyeri and Muranga. We have done Kisumu.
Yes.
We have done Kisii. They also reflected Embu. The vernacular music that was telling girls or saying it's okay to rape a woman. It's okay to rape a young girl. And it was nothing. It is in the vernacular. So these kids understand, the young boys understand.
True.
When a young boy is a musician is saying, I'll do this to a young girl, how can that be played on radio? How can that be played in a public rally? How can that be played in the inauguration of a governor?
So basically, we are simply reaping what we have sown.
We did it with abandon and reckless abandon. Not because we didn't know, not because KFCB didn't talk about it, not because preachers didn't talk about it. There were voices here and there that were concerned, but largely there was no cohesiveness in terms of policy. When I look at C.S. Magoha, or even C.S. Amina before then, in the Ministry of Education,
yes.
C.S. Matiang'i, when we were talking about the issues of gambling and betting, those issues, all these and bad content, they have a correlation on the effect they have in shaping the values and the moral character of our children. Now, the parent who plays Maima in their house, in the presence of their children, plays that video, and they don't care. The other day, I was Zooming with a group called Machakos Leaders Forum,
yes.
and they asked me to speak to them on a Sunday. While we were talking and I was live on Zoom, you see a character passing by naked. And that's a grown-up. And unless there are clearly measured and calculated initiatives to redeem those 4,000 and many, many others like I've told you, this is a time bomb. My heart bleeds, not because a kid was lured into sex,
yes,
or a kid made a mistake,
yes,
but because of the failure by government, the failure by religious leaders, the failure by our institutions to take care of our children and create safe spaces, even within COVID-19, so that our kids are not lured into early pregnancies.
All right. You know, there's something else I saw.
Mm-hmm.
I was just having a conversation with Jadil, our young producer, and he told me of something, and I checked it and confirmed that Nickelodeon has actually announced that SpongeBob SquarePants is actually gay.
Yeah, that's an animation that is I don't know.
So content very important. Importance of keeping Jesus on the airwaves. Kunanuka, unless we put Christ on the airwaves, kitahioha.
Where? Okay, thank you so much for tuning in. We have, Mutu actually amegusa Martin Dungo and saying another gentleman there, and a thumbs up, yeah? And he's saying Magoha Akosawa, the implementation should be haraka sana on the issue of pornographic sites. We also have Dennis from Juja, who's actually asking any progress on the church issue. Remember, there is a committee that was formed. They're still looking into matters whether the churches will be reopened.
The report is supposed to be given before the 6th. So they will submit that report before then, and then when the president makes his speech, he will tell us whether the church will be reopened.
Well, thank you so much, Dennis, and I hope umepata jibu. Alice from Machakos, good evening. This is the day that the Lord has made. I'm personally confused by what the Education CS Magoha has announced, basing my reasons on when will the new Form 1 students be admitted. What about the transition of other classes? I think they are professionals. Whatever they come up with will be right. Remember, he said that actually the whole academic calendar will be affected.
True.
And a new calendar is supposed to be announced mid-August, just before September. So let's wait and see what happens then. We have someone else who's saying, this is Paris Mora from Kabeta. Hi, it's always a blessing to hear from you guys. It's hard to predict because things are getting complicated each day. The health of our students and teachers come first. I think education is on its way to change in a new dimension, other than the one we are used to right now. Asante sana, Paris. We have Esi Kimenyi, who is saying, can lawmakers just make law instead of making noise? Kenyan politics have become other issues. On the issue of ng'ombe as signature, and Martin Nungo, is a ng'ombe, where are they eating grass? Well, someone had talked of banning obscene music some time back. What happened along the way? Kenya, my country, that is AC. Well, about Mr. Musau has just said it's very correct. We need such leaders guided by the Holy Spirit, more so in areas touching the development of children. This is Anthony. Banning pornography wouldn't change a thing. Do you, the type of music we are listening to is kinda, I'm not saying that word, but bad music. What Mr. Mutua was talking about in a couple of minutes ago. Joseph from Kiserian. Magoha has pointed out a very important issue. I also agree that pornography should be banned in Kenya. Haven't you noticed Instagram showing live videos of... It is so sad our kids now know how to use the hashtag, yet they can't tag their own minds to optimistic content. Music should be regulated too. Our nation is going down slowly. I think our youth should be subjected to discipline. Our pastors also need to target that category. Well,
A lot to say, huh?
a lot to say.
But parents play the key most role here. If we let, because most of us don't want to play our responsibility, we quickly want to take children, pass on the responsibility of doing this to either teachers or pastors. Yet it's our primary responsibility as parents to do that.
Wow. All right. Off from that, Fred, I want to ask you a question. Do you have mashilingi in your home, like bob?
Like coins?
Yes.
Yes, I do. 1 bobs. Can I remember whether I have 1 bobs? I know I have some coins, but it's not 10 shillings, so it has to be 1 bob. Okay. Which almost nobody wants to use.
I like that point. My point exactly. Right now, you go to a supermarket, some of them accept, but you go to a shop and you want to buy your groceries or even a painkiller using the 1 shilling, you won't. They'll tell you they don't want that money. So these coins were actually introduced to our economy late in 1967. Yes, and we had the 50 cents that used to buy quite a packet of milk and some bread with the few shillings that you would have. But right now, traders and vendors are actually refusing the 1 shilling coin. They're not taking it. And trust me, this is having an effect on our economy. Listening to some of these complaints.
Kukataa hiyo masiringi ni shida kwa sababu hakuna mahali nitasabereka. Kwa sababu nikibereka mahali wananiambia hii ifanye kazi.
Hiyo shilingi moja ulikuwa unakunywa chai kikombe moja na unakula toast. Ni shilingi 2. Alafu ile ingine nabakisha siwai kuna 20. Ile ingine nabakisha unakula ukitoka kazi.
It's a main supermarket. Kaenda kununua mayai, nikanunua sabuni, nikaambiwa hataki mashilingi.
It says hata 1 bob doesn't buy a sweet Remember our times we used to have coal. I don't see it in the market anymore. But
Yeah.
you cannot buy anything with 1 shilling.
Yeah, it's become useless. And talking about money, just in case you happen to get, a large sum of money deposited into your account or your M-Pesa account, and you don't know where it came from and you don't know the person who sent it, don't use it. Because there's a man who found 800,000 shillings in his bank account and used it to build a house. He's been charged for it with theft. The money had accidentally been credited in the said account, and Morris, gentleman is called Morris Morangere, quickly withdrew it. An Embu court has heard that the money was meant for John Munene Njeru, who had sold his land and was awaiting payment from his client. State Counsel Victor Ombogi told the court that Njeru mistook the account number by 1 digit. And that's how the money landed in Murangiri's account. The suspect then withdrew the money on diverse dates before the complainant could discover and use it. According to Section 34 of the Computers and Cybercrimes Act of 2018, persons who hide or hold electronic messages, electronic payments, debit card details sent in error commit an offense. That include if I send you, like I did today by mistake, I was buying newspaper, and so I sent the guy 120. I missed 1 digit. It went to a different chap. And so I noticed, I was very quick in pressing okay. So after I'd pressed okay, that's the time I realized, oh man, it went to the wrong person.
Yeah.
And I tried to reverse it, and let's just say probably the guy on the other side had a Fuliza, so it was Fulizward. So I had to pay the guy
an extra 120.
Yes, just in case you receive money that is not meant for you, don't use it, because that is theft, and this guy is going to spend some time in the slummer.
Man, okay. So I'm just wondering, tough times are here, and it's wrong, it's very unlawful and even against Christianity to use money that is not yours. But do you know how many people have used money that is not theirs?
Tell me about
We
it.
must say that,
800,000 you thought was a blessing.
And Leona, it's a blessing from above, so he decided, let me build a house for my family. Now he's paying for it.
An angel just M-Pesa'd me.
All right, sawa. Now let's talk about something else. Now this lockdown and the pandemic has changed the lifestyle of people and how people interact with each other, and even how they walk. We used to walk, go to a place and maybe you have a graduation party and you would move around in a wedding. Now that is not happening anymore. Now what we fail to understand that all these drastic changes has an effect on our hearts. The heart conditions that you and I have right now is greatly affected with the pandemic. So how can we take care of our hearts and make sure that they remain healthy? I had an opportunity to speak to one nutritionist by the name Gladys Mugambi, and she said food is key. So listen into this conversation.
There are some habits that we sometimes engage in that will make us not have a healthy heart. And these include inactivity, when we don't have enough physical activity, drinking a lot of alcohol, allowing ourselves to be stressed too much, and poor diet. So those are some of the reasons why we could have our hearts not healthy. But also, the other underlying reasons could be because we have other diseases, again, which are related to the habits I've talked about, such as hypertension, diabetes, and diseases that will make us our hearts not to be healthy. So those are the underlying causes.
All right. And right now we have the pandemic with us, and most of the time people are just seated at home. Others are not going to work. And we must admit that exercising right now for some people is not a priority. So can we also say that, and as you pointed out earlier, lack of activities, and with this pandemic, can we say that the chances of people getting heart-related issues is higher?
first of all, we are inactive, so we sit most of the time.
Yeah.
Like now, we have to have a discussion online, so I'm seated, I'm not moving around. And sometimes we relax too much, and therefore we end up not being physically active. So we are expected to move around, sweep around, wash our clothes, go to the garden and take care of your flowers, plant vegetables for yourself, and you can do the exercises that we know we can do. You can do aerobics in your house. You can also do press-ups, so that you're active throughout.
All right. And can you please tell us some of the basic signs and symptoms of an unhealthy heart?
Yeah, the signs are sometimes you feel tired, fatigue. Some people have issues with breathing. You find it difficult to breathe. And you can also feel like you have an irregular heartbeat. You actually feel it. And then some people have their feet swelling. And those are some of the signs.
Okay.
So if you feel tired, difficulty in breathing, and having your feet swelling, those could be signs that you're having a heart problem. It's happening frequently.
Okay, and just allow me to ask you this question. What about those that have pre-existing conditions? Are they at more risk of getting heart conditions during, especially this time, and considering some of the signs and symptoms that you've pointed out?
Yes, as I said earlier, some of the reasons why you would have a heart problem is because you have other conditions such as hypertension and diabetes that would also lead to that effect on your heart. So in this situation, when we have COVID, again, we know this is a risk factor that we should also take care of. So we know it's stressful, and that could be one of the things that can make your heart unhealthy.
All right, lastly, before I let you go, there is one aspect that most of us tend to avoid at most times, and that is the food we eat. What is the relation between our food and our heart, the health of our heart, and literally what are some of these foods that we should avoid to make sure that we protect our hearts?
So we should avoid foods that are high in salt. What salt does, it retains a lot of fluid in the body, and then your heart is not able to function well. We should also avoid high fat foods and high sugar. And what I mean is, it's not only looking at the sweet foods, but foods that have sugar, and then you take a lot of them.
Yeah.
So the other underlying cause that we've not talked about is obesity. So you're eating those foods and your weight is increasing, then your heart is likely to be more affected.
Yes. What about the fruits and veggies? Can they help at this time?
Yes, now for you to avoid the problem, then you need to eat a lot of vegetables and fruits, and in the amounts that we are guided in. People can get guidelines from our website. We have a guideline, but it depends on your age, and therefore I may not break all of them down.
Yeah,
somebody can make a reference. So eating of vegetables and fruits is one thing that is key on a daily basis, and we seem not to be eating a lot of vegetables as Kenyans, so we need to increase our consumption of vegetables to about 5 portions per day.
Wow, 5 portions, that's a big number considering that we are a nyama choma country, we must say.
Yes, and then for breakfast we only take tea and bread.
Yeah, sure.
So we should include fruits and vegetables in the morning. Yeah, and lunchtime and dinner. So having enough of those vegetables is good for us.
All right. What I'm taking away today is 5 portions of vegetables a day. I like that. Well, thank you so much, Gladys, for joining today. And I just wish that you keep safe and salimia familia.
Keep safe too.
Well, five portions of vegetables a day. I'm about to ask you, have you taken veggies today?
Today? Let's just say no.
Okay.
But I'll make sure I follow through. I'll make sure I follow through. I see what we can do with that.
Okay. Fred, we have a couple of people. And this, he didn't give me his name. Anasema, hello everyone, I am for the idea of banning some kind of music in the country. And he's giving an example, two examples actually, of the kind of songs that are sung right now and the phrases that are very disgusting even to the ears. And he says the kind of information that this music content delivers to our young one is very unhealthy, and to their thoughts too. Once they have listened to this music, they put them into practice to confirm such phrases that they have heard. And that is very unfortunate. Thank you so much. Alice is saying, to what, Sarah? And even here in Ushago, where we have all sorts of supplementaries for breakfast, we take tea with fresh milk tea, alafu kuna bread na blue band na baked cakes. Yeah,
where's the vegetables?
Alafu kuna veggies na tutawezana kweli na 5 portions of veggies. Well, Alice, that dilemma si wewe peke yako. We also have Fred here. Hi, Sarah, and he called you Jeff. This is Ivy from Kericho. Ivy, it's Fred. Thank you so much. And you're still shocked to hear that the story of SpongeBob, well, I thank God that there is still some God-glorifying content such as this here in family. I bless the Lord for you guys. Good evening, and thank you so much, Ivy, for your kind messages. We also have Kevin from Manyanja Road, who's saying, evening, guys. Why next year, April? That's kind of unfair, but interesting how the school calendar will look like. Though better the kids to be safe than sick. By the way, what were university, Jay? Na ati Sonko hakusoma documents, he's just a joker. Listen to this next statement. Impeach yeye sasa. Remember you said impeachment is the word on our mouths.
Yeah.
Mama Stacy, this is Mama Stacy from Membly, and you're saying, hi, I think this is a wise idea. We live once. Nothing is painful than regret. That is in relation to the schools and postponing the calendar. On Facebook, actually, Lynette has said, the life of our children comes first, not the exams.
True. Very
yes,
true.
we also have someone here, and this is in relation to the Magoha and pornography issue, is saying, go ahead and may God grant you the spirit and determination to enforce that law, Mr. Magoha. His name is Shadi Mungo. And then we also have John Chepkwony is saying that is a smart move.
All right, and talking about school-going children, let's cross over the seas to, actually not the seas, let's fly to South Africa. A primary school in the suburbs of Cape Town, South Africa, has installed some DIY screens on pupils' desks to prevent exposure to the coronavirus. Though these things look ugly, pupils are confident about their protection against the virus as after school resumed early this month.
Yeah.
Screen so they can protect us. It's very well because they protect us, the person at the back, so when he coughs, he can't cough exactly towards me, so I can be protected.
The classes is too small and social distancing is a big problem. How are we going to keep the kids safe and the teachers? And then we came up with a solution. I came up with this thought and said, look, I've got a lot of planks at home. I will make you frames for the classes. So we use wood that we picked up, the plastic we had from one of our teachers.
We have to think out of the box, especially because of the reason that we don't have much money. And I'm very proud of them because I thought about this thing to do, and the seals would keep the children safe, would keep the teachers safe, and it is cost effective.
Well, there is hope. hata kama we do not know how the academic calendar of our country will look like.
This is a great nation. This is a great nation. That's one thing I know. This is a great nation, and it's good that people are going. You cannot ban internet. In fact, it's through these devices, through these platforms, that everything is changing right now. That's the direction we're going. So we just have to find a way of taking care of our kids. And talking about net and accessing good content, good content, you can get it anywhere.
Yep.
And we actually have an app, Family Media app. You download that and you're constantly getting positive information, positive music. You can actually watch all the programs that are on Family TV. You can listen to positive programs on radio, Family Radio 316. And it's... These are the platforms that we need to show our children and our young people that alternatives to what is out there that is not wholesome. You use this, and this is how it changes you.
Well, you know what? Calvin from Rongai is actually streaming live on the app today, the Family Media app. And it's very easy to actually get access to this application. Google Play Store and also the App Store. So all of us are catered for. You can go to that platform, just type in Family Media and it will give you the exact application. And if you want to know more about it, don't worry. Tomorrow on Jam 316, we have the General Manager of Family Media, Mr. Kennedy Masiolo, and he will be explaining how to go about the application and where to get what exactly. So tune in tomorrow to Jam 316 with James Okumu and the General Manager. And if you don't know him, it's a platform to get to know who is behind some of these things that we are doing here. So the GM will be here tomorrow on Jam 316. Remember to tune in. We have to end this because Mr. Director is telling me wind up. Well, Chris, thank you for the good directions you've accorded to this team. Thank you so much for tuning in to This Is the Day, and thank you, Fred, for being a good co-host.
Thank you.
We are leaving you with a song. The song is Now by the lady Mallory Hope. Have a good night.
For this and more of our shows, log on to www.familymediaonline.com to enjoy a wide variety of programs from current affairs to testimonials and features, pastoral and inspirational shows, kids entertainment, and so much more. Also stream live on www.familymedia.tv.